Hello and welcome to the channel of Absolute Quality. And today we have another how-to Crucible weapon review, and today we're looking at Phosphorus MG4. It's a submachine gun. It's an energy weapon as well, so it's sitting in your secondary slot, and it's made by Amalon. So my initial reactions with this weapon is holy crap. Holy crap is the correct response to that. It melts. It literally turns people into pudding. Legit pudding. Bloody pudding. I guess maybe that's not what Guardians turn into, but light pudding. That's literally what it is. It's insane. I played and, the update came out, so now it's at 6v6 instead of 4v4 Crucible, and so I think that really helps the submachine guns and auto rifles a little bit more, and maybe these sidearms as well, because there's a lot more people, so you're getting closer to enemies nowadays, so I think it does make it a little bit easier to play with these weapons now. But despite that, this weapon's actually insane. I had a very, very, very good time using this weapon. I ended up with a 2.6 KD. I literally almost ended up with a 3.0 coming out of 15 games. That's legit 15 games. 15 different lobbies against 6 different players every single time, and we're running with a 2.6 KD. That is actually insane. I think that's the highest KD I've come out with already. I'm not sure. I actually don't write that down, so I don't know until I only know it as of this. I don't know where the paper is, where I wrote it down on for the Mida and for all the other weapons, so this one is a very high KD, but it is literally a melter. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. So the impact is very low. I think it's 12s and 13s for headshots up close, but don't let that fool you. Don't let that fool you. Not at all. Just don't let it fool you whatsoever, because when you look down at the rounds per minute, it's 900. That can change. I'll say that in a little bit, but it also has 35 rounds. Those 35 rounds exit your magazine at Mach 5. So imagine 13 damage bullets coming out of your gun at Mach 5, murdering the kid that's 4 feet away from you. He's dead. He's so dead. It is ridiculous. The impact is actually good for actually what the weapon is. Moving on to range. So for range, I'm not just going to go over it and be, like a kind of monotonous thing of saying, hey, here's the range. It's kind of good. The bar says it's good. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and rate it and tell you about the range right now, so that it doesn't make any sense going over it twice. So for range, for short range, let's go ahead and talk about short range first. So short range, it was insane. Actually insane. If I was close to someone, I was toasting them. It was ridiculous. There is no other submachine gun that I have used so far that does what this did. It is actually crazy. I literally had the best time of my life playing with this weapon in a long time. Like, I haven't found a weapon that's made me, this happy and this excited to go back into the Crucible after every single match. For short range, I am going to go ahead and give this weapon a 10. It's getting a 10. The fabled 10 in the short range category. I don't know if Antiope D has a 10. If I gave it a 10, I might have given it a 10. But this literally deserves a 10. It is ridiculous at short range. Moving on to long range, the longer range aspects of it. So it is a submachine gun, so we kind of have to explain long range in the range of the submachine gun. So the length that the submachine gun can reach and what I should expect it to reach. This gun did what I needed it to do at a good range. It was actually quite good. Now, it felt easier to kill people, especially when their shields were gone. It melted them a lot quicker without their shield. So if I was getting a team shot on somebody and they, knocked his shields off, I insta-melted them, and I was from quite a distance away. You'll see in the gameplay that it was kind of crazy. And I'm not saying that I got a lot of team kills either. There were a lot of gunfights in there, especially in this gameplay, that I 1v1'd people, and I absolutely murdered them, and it was from a good distance away. They weren't all, right next to me, 5 feet away. They were everywhere, distance-wise. So any engagement that I thought was okay to go into was okay to go into with this weapon. It was very, very good at the range that I expected it to be at. I am going to go ahead and give long range a 6, mainly because it's a submachine gun. The long-range aspects of this weapon aren't going to be very high, so you're going to go ahead and get a 6 for it. You're not going to have crazy, long-range cross-map kills with this weapon. It's just there. Once you get to a certain distance, it becomes almost impossible to aim, but it does aim quite well for a good distance away. Stability and handling, I didn't think the recoil was too bad on this weapon, nor moving around. Moving around was actually pretty fast, so it felt good when I was, using my playstyle. I felt really good using the fast-paced, always action-intense playstyle. It really fit me a lot, and so that's mainly why I think I did very good with it as well, because it fit me. It literally put the puzzle piece into the missing spot on the puzzle. That's literally how it felt when I grabbed this gun. But I didn't really think the recoil was too bad at all. It was, once you get used to it, really, it starts to feel natural. Yeah, I mean, I think that's with a lot of weapons, really. The range, not the range, but the stability is never really that bad. You just kind of have to get used to how the weapon works and, feel it up a little bit before you can actually start doing well with the weapon. I think that's basically with every single weapon out there. But I didn't really think this weapon was very bad going right in. I mean, I literally just picked it up and went in my first match I did very well, so I just started recording from there. And it was, a good time. A good time. Good times had by all. Reload speed is normal. Really nothing to say about that. Rounds 900 like I said, rounds per minute, and then magazine is 35. Now that can be changed because we can go ahead and take a look at the perks. For the perks, we have 3 in the second slot, and then we have 1 in the last slot, as you saw at the very beginning of the video. So the first one is Alloy Magazine. That just literally increases the reload speed when the bullets are gone. When you run out of bullets, it increases the reload speed. So I didn't choose that one at all because I don't like that one. Then we have Steady Rounds, which is very good. Very good on an SMG, might I add. It is very, very good because it increases greatly stability. It greatly increases stability. So not only are you getting stability, it's great. It's a great increase in stability. So it's very, very nice when shooting the weapon. And then when you look at the stat bar in the beginning of the video, if you didn't see it, you can go back now and look. But you can see how much the stability changed when it hit Steady Round, or when it hit Alloy Magazine or the next one. It literally changed by a very, very good margin. So you are definitely seeing a very good increase in stability with this one. And then the last one is Phase Magazine. Now, Phase Magazine is a little bit different, and it decreases the magazine size and increases damage, but while lowering the rate of fire of the weapon. So instead of the 900 rounds per minute, it turns into 600 rounds per minute. So you lose 300 rounds in that minute. And then the magazine also goes down to like 27, I think. 28. It goes down to 28. And it basically makes the weapon a little bit slower shooting SMG, so it stays the same as the SMG. To be totally honest with you, I didn't use this at all, because steady rounds is actually really good for me. I really do enjoy steady rounds using on any weapon that I have necessarily, so mainly it's my go-to, and it really worked out for me. It didn't cause me any problems using steady rounds, so I didn't switch at all. And then the last perk that we have is Dynamic Sway Reduction, and that is when you hold down the trigger, the weapon's sway reduction system boosts accuracy over time. So as you hold down the weapon, firing it, it gets more accurate and more stable. So while using that, it is very, very good on an SMG, because SMGs are notorious for being very difficult to aim. But when the gun itself is creating this environment where it's easier to aim, as you shoot it, it makes it for a good time. Makes it for a good time. Fun times had by all, So for perks for the Phosphorus, I think Steady Rounds is a very good perk to add onto there, and then adding the Dynamic Sway Reduction. So not only are you having steady rounds that are more stable and have more stability, you now have something where the weapon doesn't sway as much as you shoot. So it doesn't go left and right as much. So when you're shooting it now, instead of the crazy, bouncing that you're not having the crazy bounce. And then with the sway, you're not having the sway anymore as time goes on, so it gets even more accurate. So sideways and vertical, it's getting more accurate. I can't say accurate very well. I need to stop just using that word entirely. But for perks, I am going to go ahead and give it an 8. They're very good perks. Now, they're not crazy perks. I don't really know what necessarily I classify as a crazy perk. I think basically exotics have the crazy perks, because I really haven't seen any insane perks that literally make the gun work perfectly. Now, I don't know if year 2 will change my mind about that, but right now I don't really think there's a crazy amount of insane perk sets. I mean, there are a few. Alright, so now we are going to move on to effectiveness. So for effectiveness, we need to calculate a few things. We need to know our kills and deaths and our total of that, so we can put it into equation. So for kills and assists, we had 384, which is a lot. And then for deaths, we had 145, which is not a lot. I did KD of 2.6, but if you add those up, we get 529 engagements. The engagements went up, obviously, because of the 6v6 instead of the 4v4. There's a lot more people to kill, there's a lot more time to kill those opponents, and there's a lot more points to get to kill the opponents. So, I mean, you kind of have to see that there is going to definitely be an increase. I mean, before I even started... back when I was doing, the very beginning of this series, it was 4v4, and the matches were, 7 minutes long. So, I was not getting a crazy amount of kills and stuff. I think I was hitting around 330 with submachine gun. And then, now, fast forward, and now I'm hitting 529 engagements, which is a lot. So, it's a lot more, thankfully. And, makes it for recording the weapon into the list a lot easier because I'm able to judge things better. But let's go ahead and slap our equation up there. So for our equation, we're going to take K, the kills and assists. We're going to take 384. We're going to put that on the top. Divide that by the 529 total we got. Then we're going to multiply by 10. Sorry, still haven't changed the graphic. Sorry about that. But then that equation comes out to be a 7.3. Which is very, very good. I don't think I have another weapon. I mean, the Mida tool might be a 7.3, but I think this is almost the top tier of tiers for effectiveness. Now we can get overall rating. All you do is add all the numbers up, and then you divide by 4 to get the average, and that overall rating comes out to be a 7.8. So you add all that up, we get a total score of a 39.1. But let's go ahead and take the ranking system into account here. So if you don't know about the ranking system, I take the weapon, I take the score I just got for the weapon, I take the 39.1 in this case, I take it against its class weapon, so for this one it's going to be submachine guns, I take it against all the submachine guns, and then I take this weapon against every single weapon I have done so far in the Crucible. So I have 69 other weapons that need to get ranked against by this weapon, so we'll see where it stacks against everything else. So it's a score of a 39.1, it's obviously going to be very high. It hits second. It hits just 0.9 points, so 9/10 underneath of Antiope D. I swore I thought I could get this one above Antiope D, but it just ended up being 9/10 less, which is actually really, really close. So I'm really glad that this weapon shaped out to be that, because I really had a very good time using this weapon. It was very fun. Moving on to the entire list, a score of a 39.1 is getting you very high, and in this case, top 10. It is getting 10th. Literally 10th. The second submachine gun that's in the top 10, and that is very exciting for me, because now not only do I have 2 submachine guns in the top 10, they're both legendaries. So that means I can still use an exotic. I can still pick between an exotic on either side now. I can have good setups with submachine guns. I can either use the Antiope D and then maybe use like a Graviton Lance or something else in that slot, or I can use the Phosphorus MG4 at this point down here in the energy slot, and then for the primary slot I can use things like the Vigilance Wing or the Mida tool or stuff like that. So using this weapon, should you use this weapon? Yes. Immediately touch this weapon. Grope it if you have to. Just use this weapon, see how you like it. If it's your style of play, if you're a fast player and you love combat at all freaking times, the Phosphorus MG4 is something that you want to touch. Definitely want to use this weapon. I don't know how to get this weapon now. I assume it's still from the gunsmith. I assume it's still from the gunsmith because I got this in season 1. The very first season. So literally when the game dropped, I got this weapon. So it's been a very long time. I don't know if this gun drops still. I guarantee it does somewhere. But I think the gunsmith is probably your best bet for the Phosphorus. And yeah, try and get it. If you have it, use it, please. It's very good. You can maybe use Phase Magazine. I didn't try Phase Magazine because, again, I stayed around. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more content from me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you later.